All of our lives we've been told that sugar is bad for us, but no one has really explained why it is bad. It's funny how parents work. They tell you that sugar is bad, but then they're the ones buying the stuff that contains sugar. It's funny how when I was younger, my parents used to tell me that if you eat a lot of sugar, flies will follow you around when you go outside. And I was scared of flies, so that had an effect on me for like 1 to 2 weeks. The explanation I always got as a child as to why sugar is bad is that sugar will give you diabetes, and if you get diabetes you have to take a big injection into your stomach every day, and that got me really scared. I remember asking my father about why you get diabetes from eating a lot of sugar, and he told me that it has to do with your pancreas, that your pancreas gets damaged and it can't produce insulin anymore. Although that's partially true, it's not the true explanation, the core of why sugar is bad. The sad truth is that most parents, most people in society don't know what sugar does. When doing research for these kinds of videos, I do a quick search on the internet to see what the average information that people get from searching, why is sugar bad on Google is. And what I got was that, sugar is associated with diabetes, it's associated with depression, it's associated with this chronic disease, that chronic disease, but there was no actual explanation as to what that sugar actually does in your body. The articles presented research that linked sugar consumption to different diseases, and that was it. It doesn't surprise me that people are out there eating sugar. No one in society is even explaining to them why it is bad. Do you think the average parent can explain to the child why sugar is bad, the exact mechanism? No, because, even if you ask a doctor, I don't think they'll be able to answer correctly. Look, it's not your fault, because you haven't gotten the right information. I think that if everyone in a certain country watched this video and understood what sugar does to them, sugar consumption would drop by many %. This stuff is simple yet so hard to access, and I'm so thankful that you're gonna know about this. Now, the video I watched to really understand this in a very simple manner is Dr. Eric Berg's video about, what sugar does to you, the latest one, a very popular video. I think it's got above 1 million views. Berg is a guy I would trust when it comes to health. He is really good, his information is fantastic, go check him out. The basic problem is glycation, and glycation is when sugar binds to cells. And in this case, the biggest problem is sugar binding to red blood cells. And when sugar does this, you basically have red blood cells that don't work. And the thing is, red blood cells transport oxygen to your cells. So you're hijacking a very important system if you eat sugar. The way Berg thinks in the video is really admirable, because what he says is that if you've got iron problems, do you really think that eating more iron will solve the problem if you're hijacking all of your red blood cells? And if you don't know, you need iron to produce hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is the molecule in the red blood cells that attaches to oxygen. Do you know what that means? That means that in some cases, you can fix deficiencies by eliminating food instead of adding food. I don't know if Eric Berg mentions this in his video or not, but the thing with glycation is that it doesn't only affect red blood cells, it affects all cell types. So if you look at a person who eats a lot of sugar, if you look at their skin, you'll see that they've got more pigmentation than the average person, and I've noticed this in my friends who eat a lot of sugar. Those small brown spots are actually visible representations of glycation, which is pretty cool. Yeah, that's how simple it is, and it blows my mind that no one has told you this, that eating sugar, that spiking your blood sugar will kill red blood cells, or at least make them very, very ineffective. Now, how do you actually escape from the sugar trap? Well, most of you aren't addicted. Sugar isn't something that's gonna give you withdrawal pangs or anything like that. It might in young children, but most of you can control that. And if you can't control it, then heap shame on yourself, as Marcus Aurelius says. Of course, me and Marcus are just joking. The thing you should actually do is realize that you've been brainwashed. And what I mean by brainwashed from a health perspective is that a certain thing has been sugar-coated. Haha. Yes, sugar has been sugar-coated. You think that sugar isn't very harmful because everyone consumes it, but in reality, everyone is doing a bad thing, and therefore it is harder to see that is a bad thing. But as you know, it makes red blood cells inefficient and it even kills them if you eat too much sugar. So now, if this is society's perception of sugar, you're outside of this circle, hopefully. Now you understand that no, sugar is a dangerous substance and I should not consume it. You know, the average viewer attention for these videos is like 20% or something. And so if you're over here, then congratulations, you've got a good attention span. Now there's a difference between strategy and tactics. Strategy is the overarching thing that you should do to achieve a certain thing. And in this case it is to stop eating sugar. Tactics are what you actually do to do the strategy. And in this case, I'll give you the most effective tactic to quit sugar, which is if you buy something from the supermarket that has several ingredients, you're doing something bad, okay? You shouldn't do that. Whenever you buy food, the food should be natural. If you buy meat, meat doesn't have several ingredients, it has one ingredient, and that is meat. Because you didn't add anything to it, it's just cow or sheep or fish. If you're buying fruits and vegetables, hopefully they're organic, because if they're not organic, you've got pesticides together with the vegetable or the fruit. But if they're organic and hopefully they're not lying to you, well then you've just got one ingredient, which is that food. And that is what we call whole foods. Look, I usually talk about advanced dietary concepts on this channel, but for most of you, you don't need that. The only thing you need to do is to start eating whole foods only. So if this is this supermarket food circle thingy, you just want the whole foods, which is this little tiny circle over here. Go into the supermarket with the mindset of 99% of whatever it is that I see is total, utter, complete garbage. Everything you see in the supermarket is there for you to buy it. So 99% of it is not going to be producing health. Before you go and buy groceries, make a list of all the whole foods you want to consume, then go and buy them, go straight to the section where that whole food is, buy it, and then get out of the supermarket. Now, if you can't just start eating whole foods, which you can, it's just your head that is limiting you, start with this tactic instead. I want you to realize that the name sugar on any product is a bad thing for anyone selling a food. So what they do is they change the sugar to something else that is a sweetener that has a different name. So this could be glucose fructose syrup, this could be fructose syrup, this could be glucose syrup. So coconut sugar, brown sugar, cane sugar, all of that is total garbage because it's just processed in the same way that sugar is. Anything that says sugar in the name is bad. Anything that says fructose or glucose in the name is also bad. It might also say dextrose, and that's also bad. And if you for some reason can't tread the path of excellent health by quitting sugar immediately after watching this video, then I have a suggestion for you. Get into the habit of reading labels, because then you're gonna be more aware of what you're buying. Most people don't read labels. People just take things and then they buy them. Read it, and then you'll understand how bad it is. And don't just do this with food, do it with cosmetic products too, so that you can stop using them. Yes, I realize that for most of you, you don't have people around you who aren't brainwashed. You might have heard of the saying that you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, but you're also the average of the 5 content creators you watch the most. By subscribing and watching these videos, you're hanging out with me, and so the path to excellent health should become much more easier if you're over here. Again, if all your friends are athletic and you're not athletic, well, if a year goes by and you hang out with those friends, you're probably gonna become more athletic based on the things you're gonna do. And if you hang out with me, you're probably gonna do things that are healthier. Subscribe so that the path to excellent health becomes easier, so that you don't miss any content. Like the video so that it is shown to more people. Share it with someone that needs it. And with that said, go and achieve excellent health. I know you can do it.